Hello guys, and today it's not a review, but a versus episode, and we didn't have one of those in a pretty while. And today it's on the 6SH and the Spectre. This one is in the Elite 2.0 colors. I already did reviews on both of these blasters. Do keep in mind I bought the Spectre in the double defense pack, so you get a Warden with that. And I will also make a standalone review for the Spectre and the Warden. Also, I'll probably do a review for some blasters that I already did, for some blasters that I reviewed when I was just starting out, so my setup was pretty bad, and for the more popular blasters like the Moto Blitz. So I'll probably be making one video per week. Sometimes I won't be able to make any, and sometimes I might just upload two. So I'll do the best I can. Anyways, as these versus episodes go, I will firstly go over the blasters, compare them, tell you each of the cons and pros, which I think it's better, and which I think you should buy, and I think you will like more. Also, I won't be shooting these blasters because it's more like what the blasters are, not how they shoot, and also right now it's really dark outside and cold, so I'm also doing it for that. Anyways, we should go over the more simple but also good blaster, the Fortnite 6SH. Now do keep in mind that I removed the front barrel because they should have made it an end-strike barrel attachment point, but they didn't. Why? Because they don't want to give us a good blaster, but thankfully you can remove it, and with a bit of electrical tape you can pressure fit it on and it will work as fine. I'll keep the barrel off for the moment. This blaster does not have an end-strike barrel lug, no rail, so it's really smooth. It is a Nerf Fortnite blaster, so do keep in mind that the price might be a bit higher because of that. Right here we have a cylinder that you can freely spin. It can spin when you spin it around, which is not that good, but it's alright. At least it makes the clicky noises. It holds 6 darts, and there is no problems with pressure fitting, like it's not like the Shockwave kind of quality, which you can expect. This is a good old day thick plastic blaster, and it's also from the Fortnite line. It has this like wrap, which is not a wrap, it's a coloring, and at least the other side then looks okay. Still the logo not painted on the other side, but at least that's the only thing that is not painted. Then back here we have the hammer, which is the way you prime the blaster. You grab it and you prime it down to here. It's not that ergonomic, but it's not like sharp. And as you can see, this blaster you can prime it like this, or you can do it like that. I usually prime it by pulling it up, but as Welcome said it is much easier to aim by just priming it like that. Now we have the trigger, which goes like this and not like this, so it's not a linear switch, if you want to say it. It's a linear switch is a completely different thing, but this one is going at an angle, if some people don't like that. It is a spring, which feels so good. This trigger is as smooth as it can get, like literally. Then we have the grip, and the grip is monstrous, and it's You know, I was gonna say it. It is colored black. It's pretty big. As you can see, it's huge, and I would almost say it's too big. But also they got to do the spring inside, so it has to be bigger. But gosh darn, this is big. I don't like that it goes like thicker, and here it's thin. So I feel kind of weird holding it, but it's a great grip nonetheless. This blaster shoots the normal performance around 60 to 70 FPS. It's a pistol, and there are a lot of upgrade kits for like 8 to 9 dart cylinders, better springs, and this is a really good upgradable blaster. And the only flaw is that it looks kind of funky because it's going like in widening, because they don't want it to look like a real gun. And also the barrel that is on, which you need to remove, and it's not an end-strike barrel attachment, which is kind of dumb, but it's Hasbro, so they could have made it much worse. Then we have the Spectre. And I'll just remove the attachments for a second. We'll go over the attachments a bit later. The Spectre is an older blaster, an end-strike blaster, and then it was Elite, and now it's Elite 2.0. You do get it in the double defense pack, but you can get the Elite one. It's not really that different, other than maybe in performance, because this blaster shoots 70 FPS, so like a normal blaster should. At the front we do have an end-strike barrel lock, which then the Spectre's silencer goes on. Then we have a end-strike rail, and this one actually has the good type of end-strike rail, which has this spring locker, or whatever you want to call it. The Spectre Rev V2 V5 is actually painted on both sides, and the Nerf logo is not. It's not even printed. But hey, we got some paint on the other side, and this is the Elite 2.0 line. This is the Elite 2.0 line. That's great. Of course, as it's a Spectre, it has a 5 dart cylinder, which they could have upgraded it to a 6 rounder, but it's just a risk. And the gimmick of the Spectre and the Stronger is you can push this button and pop out the cylinder, which is cool but not really practical because it's another step. But let's be honest, that is cool, and you can say it is not. I didn't experience many problems with that. Sometimes the cylinder wouldn't go in all the way. That is my fault, but yeah. But the thing I did something experience is with the priming handle. It is mostly fine. It is a bit shallow, but it at least has these kind of like catches for your hand, but it's a bit small, as you can see. I can put in my index finger, but my pinky just won't fit, so I have to hold it like this, which is alright. I didn't ever catch my hand, but I usually just pull it like that. But the thing I did experience is when I prime it too fast, like that, it did not rotate. But it only happened like once in my whole time usage, which was like 4 months. That's a lot of time. Down to the grip is pretty comfortable. Unlike the 6SH, it has the finger in grooves, which fit great for me. They might not fit great for you, but hey. it is what it is, and it is a good grip. Down here we have a sling attachment point, which is an upgrade over the 6SH, which even though it has a huge grip, it does not have that. The trigger is pretty well. I would say that it is a metal spring trigger, but the 6SH feels much smoother and less resistance. And the sound you're hearing from this is it actually hitting the release. So it's super smooth. This one is still pretty smooth. Also, this blaster doesn't have flame fire, which the 6SH also doesn't have slant fire, but you can just do that, but sometimes your hand slips, it hurts, and you will have real bad performance. Down back here we have a stock attachment point, which also serves as kind of a priming indicator, which is pretty good. On that you can put the included attachment. Now I'll get to the attachments. The Spectre barrel is what actually some people might even pay the whole price just for this barrel, because this one looks pretty good and it's an Elite 2.0 attachment, which is rarely seen in the Elite 2.0 line. I like this barrel, and if you're wondering, the way it attaches is it goes onto the N-Strike attachment plug, and this little bowl is spring loaded, which when it goes on, it just kinda catches on top of the N-Strike barrel, as you can see maybe, like right here, and it starts to go like flat. It has a little indent which helps this attachment stay, and that is a good system. And that was actually something I wondered about in the barrel, about the barrel. The hole is pretty big, so you won't have problems like it's hitting the walls of the barrel. I'm talking about the darts. And the stock is pretty long, and it is pretty flexy, sexy, but nonetheless it's very comfortable. And actually, I don't know if it's sturdier, but I definitely feel like it's not as weak as in Coopson's or others videos about the specters that they had. Of course, they didn't have these ones, so maybe that's an upgrade, I don't know. But it actually feels pretty good, and although it does flex, I wouldn't call it like comfortable flex. When you flex it, it feels like it's fighting against you, which is cool. It's not cool that it's fighting against you, it's cool that it's pretty strong actually. And the gimmick about this stock, and the reason why it looks so weird, like look at that, it is a foldable stock. You pull it, which releases the mechanism, and actually you have these indicators and this one, which is basically a lock. You can't really see it, but you get it. You pull it out, fold it, and then push it back in, which is pretty good. But on this blaster, exactly when it's folded, when you go to prime it, your fingers get caught in all this, and I just don't like it. And I actually never use this stock on this blaster because this is a pistol and a revolver at that, but it is pretty good nonetheless. Now about the pros and cons of all the blasters. The con of this blaster, I would mostly say it's the lack of slam fire and a 5 round a 5-round cylinder. If you're not counting that, it's probably going to be that it's with the Warden, and you gotta buy it with the Warden if you want it in this color, and potentially this is improved. Good things about this blaster is the nice and comfy grip that might be small to some, but I have pretty big hands, not huge, but they're not small. They're bigger than Volcom's, I would say. And the pros are also the stock attachment point, the barrel attachment point, the cool gimmick, which can also be a con, but I don't count it as a con. The skipping of the barrels, but that is also not that big of a problem. Mainly it's the absurd length of this blaster. Like, I just feel they could have made it shorter. It looks a bit too long, and I don't really like that. Although it is not that much of a waste of space. But when I compare it to the size of the 6SH, it is pretty much the same length. The biggest cons of this blaster is the barrel that is permanently attached. You can remove it, and you should probably not even put it on, to be exact. But you can also do this mode, which I think is a bit better when you want to use it like for a review, or maybe just to have the aesthetic. Also, problem is that it does not have any tactical rails, which is not really a problem. I mean, this is a revolver, but the biggest problem I would say is the ergonomics on this hammer. Like, they could have made like longer and more down, so you can just pull it back, and that would make it much better. And other than that, maybe a different ergonomic grip. It doesn't not have that many problems. The biggest pros are that it's hammer primed, 6 shots, and it's moddable. While the Spectre is also moddable, despite being in the Elite 2.0 lineup, it does not have that many options for upgrading, and mostly the Strong Arm and Disruptor and the Commander are much better. Also, that is a foreshadow for another versus between the Commander and the Spectre. And well, both of them are really good blasters. Which one do I think is better? If we are not counting detachments, there is a 6SH, because it's just so much more practical in this state, and even if you don't mind. But if we count in the attachments, well, still this is much better. If you asked me to choose which blaster and attachments I can have, I would much rather have the Spectre, because I use the stock with the Phoenix, the Echo, the Recon Mark II, with basically every blaster, and the suppressor is just so cool and it fits on basically everything. While this one is a standalone, and you can't really put that barrel on anything else. That is my pick. So my pick is either the 6SH in this base state, or the Spectre with the attachments. But I'm still leaning a bit towards the 6SH. What blaster should you buy? Well, if you only care for aesthetics and not real performance, then sure, go with the Spectre. It has a great stock that might not be practical, but it's at least good. And the barrel, the suppressor, is amazing, and not only that, you can paint it, which is what people do, and they buy the suppressor sold separately for the price of the blaster, and sometimes even more, which is kind of crazy. But if you more care about performance, and you will mod even if you don't, the 6SH is just a better deal. Of course, you will have to remove that barrel, because if you don't, well, then it's just too big. I mean, just look at this. this can barely fit in frame. Like this is too big, but once it's removed, it's much more compact, and it's a great blaster. I hope you like this video, and I hope I will be able to do videos like I said every week on a Friday or Sunday, and now I might even make more videos, like 2 videos. And I hope that the Bolt review and my dream setup upgrade series were not just flukes, and I will be actually getting at least 100 views per video. Which, let's be honest, this video won't be getting more than 30 views. But anyways, at least I tried, and that is what matters. If you like this video, please subscribe and turn on the notifications, because you will probably be waiting for another video if you like my videos. And you will wait a long time. Anyways, my name is Nick C. Bye bye.